Imagine a place, imagine a club where all the elites in the world meet, and I'm not just talking about random rich people. I'm talking about actors, artists, presidents, the biggest politicians in the world, and the list goes on. They literally set the agenda for the world here, and what if I told you there's over 2,600 of them in this club? This club is called the Bohemian Club. Now I'm sure you've heard of this or the Bohemian Grove, but do you know what actually goes down in here? I mean, there's hundreds of conspiracies, but there's actually a decent amount of stuff we do know, and it's really interesting, but it gets pretty dark. It's an all-male retreat at the Grove in Northern California, and people like Ronald Reagan, Warren Buffett, Albert Einstein, the Clintons, Nixon, FDR, the most powerful people in the world have been a part of this. The people that make the biggest decisions for the United States of America meet annually at the Bohemian Grove to decide the future for our country. The people in this club will never speak a word about it, and you would think, well, why wouldn't people just go and see what this is all about? First of all, many people have tried to sneak in here, but they had no success except for Alex Jones. He gained massive popularity after exposing all the dark, freaky stuff he saw take place during this cult-like meeting, but we'll get there in a second. Bohemian Club started in 1872 by some journalists. It started off as them getting together after work and having a good time. It slowly then started to evolve to people with money, then people with money and status, and then people with endless wealth and power. It's rumored that it's $25,000 to get in with a 15-year waiting list, but I honestly doubt that since the information is so scarce and you'll probably never really know. The employees that work around the area are most likely sworn to secrecy to never talk about it, and the locals in the area seem like they're afraid to even mention the word. And I say that because I was watching a video of a local being asked about it, and her response was, "I don't want to gain the whole world and lose my soul." And think about this. So every year in July there is a massive amount of cash that comes into the little town surrounding the area of the Grove. So it seems as if they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. You know, scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. You can also search videos of people just driving around the area. It's like Area 51. There's a gate and a bunch of people are surrounding the area with cameras in the trees and everything. Once you hit the motion sensors or get in front of a camera, sheriffs will swarm you, and if you trespass, you will automatically be arrested. The amount of trees are ridiculous in the area. I mean, you can't see anything. The place is like a never-ending maze. And it's not like they're rangers either. The people that work there, they're hired by the people who own this private property. So how did Alex Jones do it? Let's listen to what he said.
So let's talk about Bohemian Grove. This is one of the first things that you did, almost like a vlog style. Before anybody was doing vlogs, Alex Jones was doing vlogs.
So I don't know much about it when I sneak in. It's like, okay, you're going to pay me to sneak in and get guys worshiping an owl. Sure. Okay, I'll sneak into your camp. I mean, I wanted a free trip to Northern California. Okay, so again, I'm a Christian, but I'm like, okay, devils and devil worship, that's what people do in like on acid and trailer parks. Okay, the world of the leader not worshiping an owl, okay? Yeah. And so it comes time, I fly out there, a little, DV cams just come out, this little compact camera, put it in the fanny pack, and basically it was all true, it happened, it was insane. So it's on the Russian River, totally beautiful. It's the biggest stand of redwood trees outside of the big national park in California. So they pull up to the entrance, and there's like a bog and a little bit of a swamp right here off the road, and they go, okay, Alex, you're gonna walk through. And I had a feeling, and I saw that they were pulling cars into park in a parking lot over here and picking them up on these big flatback buses. And I made a split-second decision to step off and go through the barbed wire fence, because this is before the checkpoint, and just act like I was in the parking lot and get on one of those. And so we just sailed through, because Mike Hansen, my producer, also went in with me, because it would be better to have two people. People aren't usually alone. And so they've told me some of the passcodes to different camps, because it's like little camps of cabins and stuff and like bars and things there that are built all over. There's over 100 camps.
Do you remember what the passcode was?
It was stuff like, I'm with the Hillbillies, Red Mountain. That was, I'm with the Hillbillies.
Hey, I'm Alex Jones. I'm here with the Hillbillies. All right.
Well, cool. I chose that because that's the Bush's camp. It's like a Texas camp that's kind of midway up. So we get off, and I'm like, okay, I got a map here. I want to go see the owl. I'm going to make sure this is real, because the pond's supposedly only like a half mile down. So I'm going in the gorge, and people are walking by, and I'm like, that's a senator. I know who's that. You recognize people because you've seen them, but you're trying to think, who is that? They're basically all famous. All of a sudden, I'm walking by this big pond. Like, there's the big 45-foot owl. Oh my gosh. And they already had it like getting it ready over by the side, like this band, like a mummy, but like a child. The mock sacrifice they burned. So I saw that. I'm like, okay. Starts getting dark, and I go, okay, let me reload the camera, get ready. I've got a little hole in it here with a hole in the front I can lift up. This is makeshift where I can hit the button on the back. And there they're playing. Dun 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 dun. And there's an orchestra playing, and they're all eating, and there's these giant tables, and I can just smell the food. And that's looking good. I'm like 100 yards above it, looking at it like this cat. But now it's getting dark, so I feel safe, and everybody's drunk by then. Now everybody's going down to the water. So you go around the owl on this bank to then see the owl about 60, 70 yards away. And this high priest comes out in his white robes and red cape, and he's got the staff, and he says, "Let the dead who were here before us, their spirits be here." And so they did, and they go through like this cornucopia of like Babylon gods, and they summon all these different gods, and they say, "But we summon the most powerful, the goddess, to renew us the next year and give us strength and rebuild our bodies and give us the thing we need. And we bring an offering forward to our God so that we will be able to put all of our sin and trouble onto it." And then this open, ornate, I'd say like 18th century British carriage comes out with big glass sides with a coffin on it, like a 5-year-old size coffin, like a 5-year-old child would be in, and a bunch of priests, like with a whole bunch of guys with torches. I got all this on video. Come out, guys with torches in front of I think it was like 4 people bearing the coffin. They take the effigy of the child out and put it in front of it. And so it's like, "Be gone, Duncan!" And it's like, "We forward to feed you." "No, please don't kill me, no, please." Like, "Yes, we're gonna kill you." And I'm sitting there going, like it's a play. I think they're not taking this serious. And these old men are sitting there just going, but like in a satanic type deal. They were just going, and I'm like, "Hey, this is pretty cool."
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, and Mike was kind of, "Hey, how's it going?" They're like, "This is important."
Oh my God.
Like, and so you're like, there.
Okay, now that was a lot of information, but basically I think the number one most important and interesting thing about Bohemian Grove and what Alex Jones was saying is the big owl they worship. They sacrifice it, they gather around it, and they say it's a symbol of wisdom and knowledge. Now I think that is the sugar coat version of what they're trying to get out. In my opinion, I think this is the Moloch god, and they say that this ceremony is called the cremation of care. They gather around it and they put their cares and worries into a coffin and they burn it at the foot of the owl. And then after they party by celebrating their, cares being free. Supposedly the voice of the owl is Walter Cronkite, and I'm going to play you a snippet of the audio of what actually goes down there.
Beyond all care, and all the winds they carry without us. Hail fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
So what you heard is them putting their cares in the coffin. Now, what are they actually putting in the coffin? They say it's their cares, but care is a word. What are the objects that they're burning? I mean, only God knows, and there's no information that's ever been released to the public. And, I heard that the reason why there's not one piece of information coming out by word of mouth that people have attended this is because they all have so much on each other from being in there. I mean, it's a known fact that they pee on trees, get naked, wear stockings, drag queens, impersonators when they celebrate after they burn their quote-unquote cares. But now, I'm just curious, what are they burning? Additionally, I mean, back in the day, the Moloch god you sacrificed children to, and I'm not saying that they are because I have no idea what they are sacrificing, but with people this elite, with something so secretive, my mind is only going to places where it shouldn't be. I'm very curious to what you guys think. Do you think this is just a figurative thing? It's actually just their cares that they're thinking about being burned? Or do you think this is dark stuff?